You know what it is, man. Unique Maker Audio, we're in the house. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. I had a wonderful time. Big shout out to Lou Sims, Azar, Cisco Kid, you know what I mean? OG Daniel, my man Flip. We all was in the house. We represented Papa Stopper, you know. But this one right here now is going to be about, you know, Rayful Edmonds. You know what I mean? I'm going to give y'all a brief synopsis on the Rayful Edmonds story. If you want more in detail, let me know. Yeah, I was down there in D.C. when he was down there. And, you know, when he got locked up, you know, my joint took off because, you know, all the customers went everywhere. But now, let me tell you how it first started. I get locked up December 10th, 1993. I wind up going to MCC Manhattan. Not MDC. I went to MCC Manhattan, and when I went to MCC Manhattan, I had to get extradited from New York down to Virginia. So when the police came to take me down to Virginia, of course, they trying to use all the scare tactics. Yeah, you got a CCE charge, you got a death penalty. They looking to execute you. We got a gas chamber for you, the whole nine. They like, yeah, in 20 years, we're going to see what you're going to be like. In 10 years, we're going to see what you be like. Because we took Rayful down there to the prison. And when we took him to the prison, they said Rayful up on the hill, you know, he got a boyfriend, and they saying all this stuff and all, you know, when you ain't with no woman, it's going to happen and this and that. And was all this, you know, talk about Rayful Edmonds, and he was the big fish they caught back then. You know, one of the first big fish they caught during the crack era. And then when they picked me up, they trying to use him as an example as far as where I'm going to go. Now, when I get down to Lewisburg, and sure enough, Rayful is there. You know what I mean? And his co-defendant, Nut. Now, this is no praise to Rayful, no kudos, no none of that. I'm just giving this to the youth so you understand how this thing play out. Now, Rayful Edmonds went to trial down in D.C., and he was the first one to have the jury bulletproof. They had the jury in a bulletproof bubble. You know what I mean? To make sure that nobody couldn't kill him because it was a big high-profile case. And, you know, it was just crazy. So now I get down to Lewisburg, and he's in Lewisburg. So when I see him, he's a little, you know, little heavier than I last seen him. So he's a little chunky dude now. You know what I mean? But now he running around, and he's always smiling, always had good spirits and all of that. And he's always leaned up, and he's always thinking. You know what I mean? He was a thinking man. He was always thinking. You can see him thinking, and then when you look at him, he'll give you a big, warm, welcoming smile. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm in Lewisburg with him, and his co-defendant is there. You know, Nut. Big shout out to Nut. Now I give all praise to Nut. Nut's official 100. Now I say that because Rayful told, so everything he did before that got wiped out. When you tell, everything get wiped out. So you youngins hear this. You out here busting your gun, carrying on, running wild, doing what you got to do, you know, or you feel you got to do, and then now you get caught, and then you tell. All those praises and all the hoopla and all that you got doing, you know, your heyday on the street and you doing you, it all gets wiped out. Now, so Nut still got his because he kept it 100. At this time, Rayful still had his because he went to trial. Remember that. He went to trial, he stood up, he faced the government, he faced what was going on. So he still had a name, and he was still the man, and he was still praised and respected amongst the men, right? This is back in 1994. When I get to Lewisburg. So him and Nut is there, and, you know, so everybody's talking and all that. So I didn't even say nothing. I just pushed back, and I just watched and let him do him. And he was always on the phone, you know, and, you know, he was always going to visit. And they were saying that he had a transvestite coming to see him and all that. I don't know how true that is. I didn't see it, you know, but they said that he had a transvestite coming to see him that was supposed to be his partner on the street that looked out for him or whatever. But I never seen it, you know. He showed me some pictures one day, you know, with a bunch of girls and some from when he was on the street. And he had a real big kind of brown skin, dark skin, you know, young lady with like a short Holly Berry bob haircut. And, you know, maybe that was a tranny. I don't know. You know, no disrespect when I say tranny or whatever to the LGBTQ. Just letting you know I'm just using the terminology that we use in jail because this is for educational purposes. So now, man, hit that like button. All right, hit the like button, right? Everybody make sure that's listening, hit the like button, and remember to comment and use the emoji. All right, so now Rayful is there, and he's running back and forth. He's doing his thing. He's getting his respect. You know what I mean? And he was real quiet and low about whatever he was doing, but he was always on the phone. So now, while he always on the phone, he was talking to Gazelle Blanca's son. You know, that's the one they called the Queen of Cocaine. Her son was there in Lewisburg, had a little 5 years. He got deported back to Colombia. When we got to Colombia, he hooked up with Rayful from in the prison, and he started sending cocaine up to Washington, D.C. to Rayful's cohorts. And, you know, they was doing what they got to do. Now, you know, Rayful making his moves, and like I said, he's well respected in the jail at this time. Now, and at this time, he was straight man 100%, because like I said, he went to trial, he didn't tell, he did what he had to do. So then, you know, we had the riot down there in my block, and from the riot, they went and locked up a bunch of people, and I wound up in ADX. So now I wound up in ADX, and when I'm in ADX, I'm sitting there one day, and lo and behold, you know, I see Rayful coming out of a police van, you know, the FBI van, and he got a bunch of police with him, got his little do-rag on, and he's coming out, and they said that Rayful Edmonds flipped. And I'm like, whoa, he went to trial. You know, I was just with him. He was a man, not even a year ago, you know, and now he flipped. Nah, I can't believe that. But then they went on with the story, and this the way it played out so y'all understand. He was on the phone every day. At that time, they had a MAB side and a sand side, they called it. You know, one side was for the aggressive people, one side was for the people that, you know, had a lot of time, but they classified their record and they didn't have a lot of violence on their jacket and things like that, so they put them on that side. And, you know, so one day the MAB side would be open, the phone would be on all day. You could use the phone, and could you believe they had the rotary phones that go tick, 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 you know, where you keep, you know, you turn the dial. You know, for you youngins, y'all might not even know that, but my old time know what I'm talking about. You put your finger in a little round hole, and you take number 8, you go, da, 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 da. And when you spin it, it spins back. But when we called out, we actually got a live operator on the phone, you know, and it was local girls from the college that worked over there doing what they call, I think, telemarketing. But when you call in, the young girls will answer, and when the call go through and your family answer on the other side, the young girls would say, hello, you have a collect call from such and such. But when we call while the phone is ringing, you know, if nobody answer, you still be on the phone and you talking to these young girls, and we're in prison, we ain't got nobody to talk to, so we're like, damn, you sound good, where you from? And they be from all over the country, all over the world, but they just working there to make some extra money. So we used to pull the girls, and we'll even tell them, yo, could you just put this call through? You know what I mean? And they'll put the call through, because you had to call collect. Only way you could call them was collect. It was no prepaid call and all that when I first got in the system. They still had them old phones with the cord coming off it, you know, and the spiral cord that you just hold to your ear, you know? But it was crazy. So I met a few girls on the joint, just talking crap. You know how you do, just exercising your Mac, make sure you still got it, you know what I mean? You know, we even had girls coming to see us from the local college from off the phone joint, because you calling, you there on the phone all day, every day calling. They only got a certain amount of females answering, you know what I mean? So when they answer, it seemed like it was all females at the time. But when you answer, they get on the phone, and you'd be like, damn, what's your name? You sound good. And they'd be like, oh, my name is such and such. Oh, where you from? Oh, I know you in Lewisburg. What you locked up for? You know, oh, you tell them you locked up for a CCE charge, a kingpin charge. Now they got all kinds of questions. Oh, I'm from New York, Harlem, even more questions. Oh, I was down in Virginia doing my thing, even more questions. You know, such and such down there. You know, you just hold conversation. Before you know it, you talk to the operator for 2 hours. You know what I mean? And, you know, and you get intimate with them, and you share things, they share things, and you just rap. Where when you call, you know, you get their name, and then when you call back, if another operator answers, you be like, yo, connect me to Sharon, connect me to Susan, connect me to Kathy. And they connected, and, you know, they all had their little boyfriends there that was in prison that they'll use to talk to pass their little 8 hours while they was doing their little phone monitoring thing. So now we done met a few girls. But now, like I said, I see Rayful Edmonds getting out the van, and they said that he told and he made over 3,000 calls in 30 days. Could you imagine making 3,000 connections, 3,000 calls? Could you imagine making 3,000 calls, you know what I mean, in 1 year? I mean, in 1 month. 3,000 calls in 1 month. That's how much he was using it. So now they start pushing it, saying that we got too much free time and too much access to the phone. So they was trying to figure out, this in 95, they were trying to figure out a way to lower it so that we didn't have that much time on the phone to plan other criminal activity, like how Rayful Edmonds was running his drug empire from in the prison. Now picture this, a man get locked up as a kingpin, biggest kingpin in D.C. at the time, Washington. And now that he gets locked up and he in federal prison, he starts selling cocaine from in prison, but to his comrade, using his comrades on the street to distribute it through a connect that he met in the prison, which was Gazelle Blanca's son. You understand? That's the one that got killed down there after he got extradited. But that's who Rayful was dealing with. So after the dude got killed in Colombia, now the FBI, they investigating everything. And they want to know what's going on and, with him and his murder and who could have did it, just for their historical purposes. They really didn't care. It ain't like they had no feelings and no emotions, or compassion for, Gazelle Blanca's son. But Rayful's name and the prison thing came up on the thing, so they started monitoring the calls, see how many calls was made. They seen it was over 3,000 calls a month. They like, nah, that's too much. How the hell do an inmate need to make 3,000 calls in 1 month? You're just supposed to be keeping in touch with your family members and you call and collect, so you have to pay for it. And the price of the calls back then, believe it or not, was like $10, $10 for like 15 minutes. But there was no time limit on the phone then. You get on the phone with those old rotary phones before the prepaid, and once you get on, you can stay on the phone all day. Remind me if y'all want to hear the video about how I was running the phone in Lewisburg and how the phone ran in Lewisburg back then. You know what I mean? Because you already know phone, a lot of violence when you start dealing with phone time. But anyway, so this is what Rayful doing now. He on the call, doing his thing. So now he started flipping. So now they're trying to figure out a way to come up with giving us, less minutes. So they narrowed it down after, it took about to 2000, they came up with a new system because they had something called ITS-1. ITS-1 was where you could call for 15 minutes and now you could pay for the call, meaning you put money on your phone account. And when you call, and you get the connection, they start subtracting money from the phone account and such. But when the phone hang up after 15 minutes, you could call right back on ITS-1. My homies remember that from back in the day. But then when they got ITS-2, that's when they really clamped it down, where they only gave it 15 minutes. And now when you got off the phone after 15 minutes, they could set the phone so that you can't use the phone again for another 15 minutes or 30 minutes. In some jails, it's 45 minutes. In some jails, an hour. So you make a call at 8 o'clock, you get off at 8:15, you can't get back on until 9:15 if the jail is for an hour. This how they was doing it back then, just so you understand. But they trying to limit the amount of calls we got because they saying that we was committing too many drug crimes and activities from within the prison system using the phone. So they knocked it down to 300 minutes. I really want to tell y'all about, my experiences, how they brought in the 300 minutes, but this one is about Rayful. I'm trying to keep it to the point. So I'm going to, let y'all know. Put in the comment if y'all want to hear about, how the actual phone went and how the transformation went and how we had to adjust to it and how I adjusted to it during that time period. But they turned it from unlimited calls a month, where a dude was able to make 3,000 calls a month, to now we only get 20 15-minute calls a month, but you can break them down however you want. So you can take that 300 minutes and call for 1 minute, at a time, and get 300 minutes and use 300 connections. But this man was getting 3,000, so they knocked it down to 300 connections at a minute apiece. And after each call, you had to now wait, whatever the jail wanted you to wait, 15, 30, 45, whatever, an hour, to use the phone. So now I see Rayful on TV and he telling. So I'm talking to the other brothers up there in ADX and we like, oh man, can't believe he went to the other side. That's what we call it. He went to the other side. Nah, man, he went to trial. He had the biggest trial, man. That's crazy. Boop, 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 boop. Then next thing you know, I think it was one of them talk shows, Barbara Walters, at 20 Minutes, a Dateline or something. He was up there and the police was disrespecting him, saying that he told for a bucket of chicken. You know what I mean? They said this man told because he wanted a bucket of chicken. They said, what we got to do to get you to talk? What do we have to do to get you to talk and tell us the information we want to know about how you was running this drug empire from in the phone with Gazelle Blanca's son? And he said, man, get me a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know what I mean? That's how long. He only been locked about 5-7 years at the time. But picture that now. The man said, man, just get me a bucket of fried chicken and I'm going to tell on all my friends for a bucket of fried chicken. So you youngins watching this, that's how easy it is. Imagine a man telling on you for a Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know? So, if that was the joke with the police, they put it out there, let everybody know that this man told because he said he wanted to eat some fried chicken. Chicken is something else. If you want to hear about how important and how powerful chicken is in the prison and violent it can get when they serve fried chicken in the prison, put that in the comments. I'll give you that too. I want to stay online. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button and hit that Cash App. Let's get this thing going. Like I said, I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's $1. Shoot it. We're going to get all this microphone. I got a new joint hooked up. I had to buy these new plugs and all that to get y'all right. You know what I mean? That's why the volume is good now. The other day, the volume was bad, so I had to get some new plugs and all that I hooked up that I can't show you because it's hooked up to the joint. But hit that Cash App and show some love the same way you go to a restaurant and you get them 15% tip of whatever it is. Same way you go to the bar, you give a tip at the bar. You at YouTube, you like the content, you send a dude $1. You know what I mean? Or whatever you could stand. But even if it's $1, don't think that $1 is not enough. But then now, so Rayful Edmonds is there, and we couldn't believe this, that he told for a bucket of chicken. Then next thing you know, he said that he told because he was trying to get his mother out because his mother was on the case, was locked up in a woman's prison, and he was trying to get his mother out. That was the excuse. Now, youngins, don't get involved in crime. Don't go on the street. Don't get involved in that bull crap because I'm telling you, dudes is going to make up all kinds of excuses when they tell. When a dude tell they got my mother, they got my pet monkey Bubbles, they got my dog Ginger, they got my daughter. All these reasons for telling. But all this could happen if you run the streets. You put yourself in that line of fire for your family members to be targeted by the administration, and you put yourself in a line of fire to be targeted by the wolves. Let's not forget the wolves. You know what I mean? So you can't get mad when the wolves grab somebody or, do something to your family member because you was out there in the street and you open yourself up for that. Like I said, my mother even got snatched up, pistol whipped and all that. But we ain't go to no police because the police did not help us get in the situation we're in by the money we was making to attract the wolves to come at us. So when it was time for that, we had to deal with that. We couldn't go to the police and say, hey, my mother got kidnapped. I had to do this. We don't do that. You know what I mean? No disrespect. But I'm just saying that so the youngins understand that's how serious this game is, And, whatever it is, man, I'm telling you, don't get involved. It's not worth it, So now, Rayful to say that he told because his mother this and his mother that, And it was like crazy because I couldn't believe that this man told because I was just with the man and he looked like he was, he had lawyers on the case, fighting his case and he doing what he got to do. But I guess the new case, coming down on his head is what really messed him up to make him think, damn, man, I got to try and save myself. Now, he's supposed to be coming out in another 2 years, just so you know, because they said that he cooperated. The crazy thing is the prosecutor's on his side to get out, When I was fighting to get out, the prosecutor was against me the whole time. They mentioned, a 14-year-old girl got hit by a stray bullet. There was 2 murders. He sent down, over 300 keys of cocaine, down to the Hampton Roads area. Don't let him out. He's a violent man. He's a this man. He's a that man. They didn't look at what I did over the 26 years. And I had over 100 certificates and awards for programming. But they didn't care about none of that. You know what I mean? All they cared about is what I did 26 years ago. That's why I respect my judge. I'm going to give a big shout out to my judge, Raymond A. Jackson, down there in Norfolk, Virginia. If y'all was in Virginia, I'm sure some of y'all know dealt with Raymond A. Jackson. But he was the first black judge they had down in Virginia. They brought him up. To be a federal judge because he was in the civil level, I think, or prosecutor or something. But they brought him up because my man, Gene Oscar, big shout out to Gene Oscar. He testified at my trial on my behalf. See, so you understand. Now, when a person take the stand for the government, he's a rat. You understand? But a person could take the stand to try and help their comrade beat the government. You understand what I'm saying? And yes, they both took the stand, but one took the stand to help, his comrade that's in the life of crime because we help each other even though we might not agree or like the crime choices that we chose to make. But when you get on the stand for the government, now you label it as a rat. But my man, Gene Oscar, he got on the stand on my behalf, explaining to him how everybody, was jumping on people's cases just to get a time cut. Like dudes in the cell and in the unit, they talk to people and they ask them, yo, what you locked up for? Such and such. Oh, you remember this one? Yeah, man, such and such was buying about 10 keys. Yeah, he was buying 5 keys for me. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. So then now he goes, the person listening, the informant, he called the prosecutor and he said, hey, I got word Unique told me he sold 5 keys to Whoop the Whoop. You know what I mean? Big shout out to California with the Whoop the Whoop. Be like, yo, he sold 5 keys to Whoop the Whoop, blah, 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 blah. So then now they say, okay, come now, we're going to debrief you. They bring him down and he tell how he heard it, what I said. And they say, nah, that's not salacious enough. You got to say that he sold 20 keys and you got to say that he had a pistol with him every time, to make it more dramatic for the jury. So they writing a movie script using your comrade that was in the belly of the beast with you. Could you imagine this? Yeah, this is how this play out. So don't say I didn't tell you. So youngins, don't get involved in crime. Hit that like button, hit that Cash App. I don't care if it's $1. Let's get this thing rolling. I need to get some more equipment. I got to build another studio. Like my man, Reverend Ike. Don't forget Reverend Ike. For you old timers that's from up north, you know what I mean? You ask your parents or grandparents about Reverend Ike. You know what I mean? They made sure Reverend Ike had everything to make sure the church was running the same way. I need to make sure y'all help me get everything running so I can get these Rodecaster mic, Rodecaster Mixmaster machine and the Lumax Panasonic camera and, my upgrades and do what I got to do to give you the best quality. Look how good that look. Now, this story here is about, what I'm wearing. This is my merchandise, the Shut the F Up movement. So if you know somebody that's on the street, you give them one of these shirts and tell them if you want to remain on the street, know that you have the right to remain silent. When you get caught, you need to just shut the F up. You know what I mean? But not promoting, don't snitching, none of that. It's just promoting that you have under the Fifth Amendment right, the right to remain silent. That's all it is. That's the first thing they tell you when you get locked up. First thing out their mouth when you get locked up, it's in the Miranda rights. They say you have the right to remain silent. But then right there, that's when, and they tell you anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Then they say, what happened? We're going to help you. Now you hear help and you feel that's a life raft. And then now you start, oh, I was selling 30 keys, sending it down. This one was driving it down. That was that. This person got shot. That person got shot. You know what I mean? Now they want a deal. And then now they tell you, okay, you're looking at life sentence. And you like, get out of here, I'm going to trial. Well, now I got all your statements. Because remember, I read you your Miranda rights and I told you anything you said, you have the right to remain silent, but you should have shut the F up. You didn't shut the F up, so therefore, we got you and we're going to use your own statements against you because we told you the Miranda rights, anything you say can and will be used against you. Y'all paying attention? I'm giving y'all a history lesson. So I'm going to be starting something now. So if there's any bondsmen, lawyers, or anybody in the criminal field, criminal justice field, that, would like to sponsor me, as far as for me to promote your business, your brand on my channel to get, because I got a number of people up here, 37,000 subscribers that's watching, that's, a lot is either into crime or thinking about doing crime or trying to get out of crime or didn't get into crime, but I can run the people to you with a sponsorship, all right? So now, we got old Rayful now, and he telling, But let me get back to my man, Gene Oscar. Gene Oscar gets on the joint, and I did a video where I had a phone call with him. I'm going to do another one that's going to get more in detail. But he testified on my behalf explaining how they have case jumpers. A case jumper is a dude that jump from one case to the other and go testify at everybody's trial. So that every time he testifies somebody, the government take 2 years off his sentence, 3 years, and it depends how much, how big the person is they told on to let them know what they get. But now, I couldn't believe it, and nobody couldn't believe it, that Rayful Edmonds flipped. This man had the first trial that they had a bulletproof, bubble around the jury because they was, feared for their life. But anyway, back to Raymond Jackson. All right, you see the way I bounce, the way I drive. Just enjoy the ride. Don't tell me how to do this. And if I'm talking too fast, slow it down and get the words transcribed on the screen so you can understand, like Chris Tucker said, the words that are coming out of my mouth. Now, so Rayful Edmonds is sitting there and he started telling. He said he told for some chicken. He told to get his mother out of jail. All these excuses. So you youngins listening, you're going to have to make up all these excuses. You know what I mean? We're not going to have to, but you're going to make up all these excuses because you're going to want to justify why you did what you did. You know what I mean? Because, and that's why I respect a rat for being a rat when a rat tell you straight up, man, I'm a rat, or if I get caught, I'm a rat. You know what I mean? And y'all get it confused with civilian and criminal. You can't go to work on a 9 to 5 and sell cocaine at night and then get caught for selling cocaine, and then now you say you're a civilian because you work 9 to 5. No, then you shouldn't have been selling cocaine. Once you cross the line into the darker bliss, you're open for anything. You know what I mean? Back in the day, the way the wolves work, when the wolves ran up on you back in the day and they come up in the spot, it's like they coming up in there to take what you have, because what you have, you're selling illegal and everything you're doing is illegal, and you can't go to the police. So you can't go to the police and say, you know, Whip the Smith done came in here and robbed my coke spot and took $20,000, you know, and a key of cocaine. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, we was prime real estate, you know, for the wolves. You know what I mean? Big shout out to the wolves. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, I said, nah, man. You know, like I said, I'm in my zone, man. I'm just enjoying it. So if you want to enjoy the ride, this is like I'm sitting down right in front of you and I'm talking to you and I'm sharing with you these jewels and gems in history of what went on during the crack era. So now, he telling, you know what I mean? Gene Oscar, you know, he testified for me. So I just want you to understand that you could go on the stand and testify for somebody. Just like, you know, I'm even going to touch this with the touchy topic because I try and stay away from controversy because I don't want my message to get blurred. So I'm going to let you know the way this works. Okay, now, I know brothers that told on, you know, that told that their dead comrade killed somebody, you know what I mean, to get out of prison. That's not the first time we heard that. You know what I mean? So y'all can shoot this viral, do what you want to do with. I'm giving you a short synopsis on this. I'm trying to stay out the bull crap because everybody trying to justify things. I know brothers that told on dead bodies. You understand what I'm saying? To get out of jail. You understand? But when they tell on a dead body, they're telling on, you know, somebody that, you know, they ran with like a comrade or whatever. They know their comrade wouldn't mind them doing it. The same way, like, you know, a lot of people say in the comments that, you know, if I die, yeah, my co-defendant could put it on me. I don't care. You know, my friend could put it on me if it's going to get him out of jail. But when you go crossing the line over the people that you didn't run with, that have nothing to do with you, and you're bringing their name up, now it's something else. I've known dudes that, you know, them and their co-defendant, they done robbed somebody, killed somebody, and their co-defendant get killed, and then they say it was their co-defendant. And they even got their comrades to write an affidavit saying that, yeah, it was the co-defendant to do it. So I'm just laying out how it is in prison. I might talk about it later if y'all know how to be respectful about it in the comments, but I'm giving y'all the jewels. So I know people that told on dead bodies. That's not the first time it happened. That was no loophole. That wasn't no genius thing to think of because, you know, you talking about comrade to comrade, you know? But then when you go now and you sit down with the government and say, hey, let me help you solve these cases so that I can get out of jail, and I'm going to tell you about these dead bodies that these other people did that died, that it's not going to hurt nobody, so I don't feel that I'm telling. You understand what I'm saying? Now you're in violation, not for telling on a dead body so much, you're in violation for sitting down with the government. You understand? You see the difference? If you don't, I'm going to give it to you, break it down a little slow. A big shout out to my man, Kirk Bone. Watch Kirk Bone TV. Rayful was his co-defendant. Good man, stand-up man. Kirk Bone, Rayful lost everything once he told. So you youngins understand, don't go to prison, don't get involved in it, ain't worth it. But then now, when you sit down with the government, now you become the government's co-defendant trying to solve a murder. But when you sit down with another comrade and you're trying to help him get out of prison, and you conspire with this person and become their co-defendant with writing an affidavit saying that, you know, it was his partner or his best friend or whoever that did the murder, you know what I mean? And it wasn't him because that person is dead and nobody can get in trouble anymore. So that's the difference. I know y'all gonna find a way to twist this up. But bottom line, when you sit down with the government, you're a rat and you worked with them because you don't work with the government. When you sit down with another comrade that's in the belly of the beast and you come up with a story that you're gonna say that I killed such and such, you know, that this person was killed and it wasn't me, it was my co-defendant. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I know that's tricky for y'all because y'all trying to find a way to make it right, you know what I mean? To just tell on a dead body, you know what I mean? But when you telling, you know, when you're working with the government and telling on a dead body, that's the violation. Working with the government, working with a comrade to tell on a dead body, you understand what I'm saying? To get somebody out of jail, that's one thing. But when you're working with the government You understand what I'm saying? When you're working with the government, that's another. Because we don't work with the government. The same way I say they grabbed my mother, she got pistol whipped and all that. I didn't run to the police and ask the government to protect me. You know what I mean? Because the government didn't help me get in it. And they was my enemy like I was their enemy. This at the time, so y'all understand. Because you hear terminology and let it go out the window because the media play games and push things under the rug like how they push slavery under the rug. You understand? You got almost lost my train of thought. You know what I mean? They try and push it under the rug. By them pushing it under the rug, they try and make you forget. So they try and make you forget that you're sitting there and it's a war on drugs. That's the time I got locked up on. Put in war on drugs. That was really a war on the American citizens. Anybody on American soil that was selling drugs, it was a war against them. A war like they have the war in Ukraine. You understand what I'm saying? It was a war on drugs. So when we got caught, we became prisoners of war from the war on drugs. So we are POWs. Those are the inmates that's in prison, well, the convicts that's in prison. You know what I mean? Because I don't call the stand-up men inmates. The inmates is the ones that succumb to the administration, and I'm not telling nobody, don't succumb to the administration. I'm telling you that I'm not going to tell it. I didn't submit to the administration. You know what I mean? Because those are the rules when you run the street. So youngins, don't get involved in the street. Don't say I didn't tell you the rules. Look at this. I'm on YouTube after 26 years in federal prison, went to trial, fought the government, and now I'm out here and I'm giving you the rules that y'all say wasn't given to y'all because majority of us was locked in the federal prison that was raised under that cloth. Big shout out to Homicide Lou, Gangster Lou, you understand what I'm saying? Cisco Kid, you know, Larry Moe, you know, Bonaparte, you know, ER, you know, Antone White, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, Minx that lost his life in the federal prison. That's Mario from DC. But these are all stand-up men that played by the rules. Y'all never got these rules. I'm sitting here on YouTube giving y'all the rules. I'm giving y'all a history lesson. So for that, I can't get a Cash App? For that, I can't get a Cash App of $1? Like I said, you send me your Cash App and I'm going to send you $1. You understand? I mean, because it's not going to hurt nobody. I'm one man. If each person send $1, ain't going to hurt nobody they send it to. You know what I mean? But I'll be able to get everything that I need, and it'll make it worth it for me to be up here to give these stories, because y'all want these stories every day at 9 o'clock. If I miss at 9 o'clock in the morning, don't put something out in the morning, they say, damn, where Unique at? He ain't putting nothing out. You know what I mean? But Unique got to go get a job because he ain't trying to sell drugs to go to prison. Unique got to go do this. Unique got to go do that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if y'all look out the Cash App, then I have more time to put into doing what I need to do. And for that, I want to shout out my Mount 722, you know, for looking out. Kashif, Picasso, Boki Kamara, you know, and Twin Traits. Just to name a few. Now, when y'all send a Cash App, if it's something that you're requesting, and that, you know, a comment you want to make, put it with the Cash App saying, you know, here's $1 for, you know, or here's $20, you know, to tell part 3 of the Lil Jimmy story. Because I don't know if y'all ready for that Lil Jimmy story yet, but y'all doing better because it was a beautiful weekend. Now that y'all understanding YouTube etiquette. That's all this is, YouTube etiquette. You know what I mean? So the same way I'm teaching you about the prison, the hood, the morals, the principles, the codes, now I'm teaching you about YouTube etiquette. This goes to all the other podcasters that's out there. Make sure you support them. If you like what they're doing, the first thing you do is you hit a thumbs up. That don't cost you anything. Hit a thumbs up to your favorite podcaster as soon as you go on their video because you came there to watch their content. And if you like it, then you put a comment. I'm actually just put a little emoji in my joint, whether it's a little arm that's like that, the diamond or the fire, you know what I mean? And shoot it in. You can put a couple of words behind it, big shout out, king, salute, or whatever, so it could go in the algorithm. That's how you help so that I don't have to keep pushing the issue of a Cash App because they're not paying you that much on YouTube. But you get in the algorithm, you get more views, you get more showcase to other people, and you get your money. You know what I mean? So, and I know y'all don't think I'm, up here and spending all my money doing this. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to look good for you. Because if you come up here looking all crusty and ashy, then y'all going to be all on the YouTube blog saying that, oh, Unique up there looking crashy and ashy, and he was a kingpin, now he broke and he begging for money. You look for all kinds of things to talk about negative. But I don't pay nothing to none of that crap because the real soldiers that's over here at Unique Mecca Audio, they know how the game go. Because the game is to be sold, not told. So now they turn it to go back to the phone thing with Rayful Edmonds. I just like to give a little bit of lessons on everything. Like I said, just ride with me. Y'all said you wanted the video longer. This is 35 minutes already. So now I can tap out now, then y'all get mad. I didn't give y'all the end of the Rayful Edmonds story. All right. But anyway, so now Rayful Edmonds, he sit there and he told for a bucket of chicken, said he told to get his mom out of jail. So you don't get locked up, because we don't want to hear you saying you told because they grabbed your dog Ginger, or, you know what I mean, your pet cat Kitty. You know what I mean? We don't do that. Be a man and get a job. That's what being a man is, so y'all don't get it confused. Being a man is having a job, taking care of your family and paying your bills, you know what I mean, and paying your taxes and living a productive life. That's man time, period. That's man time. No questions asked. Do y'all agree with that? That's man time. Getting a job, taking care of your family, paying your bills and paying your taxes, staying out of jail, and respecting, your neighbors. That's man time. But when you cross into the criminal world, that's why I asked for a cash app. Pay attention. I'm giving you all these jewels. Be sold, not told. When you cross into the criminal world, you understand what I'm saying? You have a different definition of man time. In the criminal world, the definition of man time, so y'all say it was nobody never told me this, because they had us locked up where you need to make an audio here to tell you it now. Now, when you're on the other side of the fence, man time is you get caught, you don't tell. You understand what I'm saying? You don't sit down with the government on any reasons, not even to tell on a dead body to get out of jail. You understand what I'm saying? But you can sit down with your comrade. That's what they do. You know what I mean? They comrades, they work with it. And I know this controversial and going to be something y'all going to have a vicious time trying to go back and forth arguing with, but I'm not going to get into arguing. I'm just telling you how it is. I've seen plenty of dudes that went and, got one of their homeboys to say that they didn't commit the murder, that it was their dead homeboy that did it. But they did it to get a homeboy out of jail. They didn't do it to help the government solve cases or whatever. And that's not a shot to anybody. Let's say that, not a shot. Because the brother that did that, he's a Muslim, so, salam alaikum, you know what I mean? And only person could judge us is Allah. But him and everyone else know what the rules is to this. When you cross this side, man time is you don't cooperate under any circumstances, no ands, ifs, or buts, no reason, no nothing. You understand? That's why on the street, that's what I'm saying, these Jews are so powerful. That's why I keep saying Cash App. Y'all hearing Cash App. I'm going to give you another one. When you on the street, and you trying to take over a spot, or you want something, you know what I mean? Or somebody do something to you. Nowadays, somebody do something to you, and this how vicious the street is. This the other side of this, the spectrum I'm talking about. Not the man, the proper man time of getting a job. I'm saying when you cross over into the criminal world. Now you're over in the criminal world and a dude come and he robs you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he robs you, he tie you up, you know what I mean? Whatever he want to do, but if he want to get your spot, you know what I mean? And this is why I became a kingpin, because this is the mentality you got to have. If you're trying to get over on something, you got an issue with somebody, back then you don't deal with them, you find out what their breaking point is. Their breaking point is who or whatever they love. Now, I'm going to give it to y'all so y'all can understand. Damn, these Jews are so good. They come to me as I'm going. Now, you got a female, a lot of females, got females out here watching this. You know what I mean? You got dudes out there watching this. So a female with a dude and she breaks up with the dude, or she's mad at the dude, you know what I mean? She don't go fight the dude because she knows she's not going to win because she's a female. So what she do is she take a key and she scratch his car up. You know what I mean? Big shout out to the Cash App. Somebody just sent me a Cash App. Who was this? While I'm sitting here talking, MAL app. Yeah, MAL app sent me a Cash App. Thank you. You know what I mean? But they go off all day and all night because I appreciate y'all, because y'all watch the videos all night. But, girl get mad at dude. She scratch up his car. She break his car windows. Or they do like, the shorty did, Miss T, and cut a man's tires and, whatever to attack, because they feel that we connected to this car so much that's what we care more about, that car. So I'm gonna mess this precious car up. I'm gonna spray paint your car. I'm gonna key your car. I'm gonna break your windows. I'm gonna stab your tires. It's the same way that when you're in the drug game and somebody's out there violating you, and you feel it's a violation, you run down on, no disrespect, the things that they love the most. You understand what I'm saying? The people they love the most. That's why when you get money, you got to move your family out the way, or whatever it is that you love the most, out of harm's way, because all that is And it's an ugly world out there, and I hate to even say it, but I just want you to understand, they make all that fair play. Because you grab a man or you grab me and you torture me, I'm not telling you nothing. Torture me until you kill me. You know what I mean? Cut my head off, cut my nuts off, cut my finger off, stick stuff in my eye, whatever. I'm not going to talk. You know what I mean? And this is just a part of being a soldier. This is the part of being into a structure. I'm even going to take it into another level so y'all understand it's not just the street world. This is when you're at war. Look at John McCain. John McCain got caught, I think, back in the 40s. You know what I mean? He got caught in the 40s, him and his comrades over there in the, I think it was the Vietnam War. So y'all correct me because y'all like to do crap like that anyway. But it don't even matter which war. But John McCain got caught in the war. When he got caught in the war, they held him over there, tortured him, didn't feed them, treated him like crap. And then they went to let John McCain out. And John McCain said, "No, I'm not going anywhere until my comrades leave with me. I'm not going anywhere until my comrades leave with me." That was John McCain. Big shout out to John McCain. Y'all look up John McCain. Big shout out to John McCain, man. Big shout out to John McCain. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. He said, "I'm not going nowhere." You know what I mean? They was going to release him back to America from out that prison camp over there in North Korea or wherever it's at. Y'all correct me. You know what I mean? During the Vietnam War. They was going to release him. He said, "I'm not going until my comrades leave." You understand? Just like Nelson Mandela. Let's give Nelson Mandela. I'm giving you a lot of history lessons. This right here, I'm already on here 41 minutes, man. But it's a new year. I gave y'all the Whitey Bulger story for an hour. And I'm giving y'all another maybe an hour with this joint here. But let's look at Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela got locked up because they came in with apartheid and they was trying to get him to coincide with them so that the Europeans, meaning y'all know what that means, that was trying to take over, wanted to use Nelson Mandela as the face to get the people to follow their agenda. Nelson Mandela said no. They locked him up for that. He stayed in jail 25 years. They went to him like every 5-10 years or something like that. And they said, "Look, we're going to let you out. All you got to do is denounce what you was doing and work with us and tell the people to follow us." And Nelson Mandela said, "No, I'll dive in here first." And he stood strong for 25 years until he was released as an honorable man when times changed. The same way I stood in jail 25 years. And then now I'm out. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't tell. I could have told. I could have did a whole lot of things to try and get out. You know what I mean? But none of that crossed my mind because I'm on this side of the fence. So I'm telling y'all, don't go on that side of the fence so you don't have to worry about it. So don't say I didn't tell you. Don't go on that side of the fence because these rules are crazy. They could grab your pet monkey Bubbles, you know what I mean? Your pretty cat Sweepy, you know what I mean? And tell you that we're going to do this and that, But you put yourself in that situation when you cross that line. I put myself in that situation. That's why I said that's how my mother got in that situation. I couldn't run to nobody. So don't say that, I'm telling nobody to do nothing. I'm just letting you know when you go on that side, man time is not telling under any circumstances and holding it down. You know what I mean? Holding your comrades down, not dealing with the government, not have nothing to do with the government. You know what I mean? And we need the government. They steal your car, and you got insurance, you want to report your car stolen. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that if you're paying insurance. You're paying insurance, that means you cooperating and, working with the government by paying your insurance and paying your taxes on it. When I was on the street, I didn't pay taxes for anything. Anything I wanted, I had a bag full of cash over my shoulder, or a pocket full of, money in my pocket. And I went in there and I wanted a diamond watch for $80,000. I put $80,000 on the counter and they didn't charge me no tax because they didn't report that. But regardless, they didn't charge me no tax. So they don't charge me no tax. Now I can't turn around and then say, I'm going to insure this watch. You understand? Because now if I do insure the watch and then somebody break in my house, you understand what I'm saying? Then now, I'm going to want to report that watch stolen. But if I'm working in the street and I buy an $80,000 watch and then I fill out a complaint that they stole my $80,000 watch, the insurance company's going to investigate. And the first thing they're going to look is, how did you get this watch? Because they're trying to find a way not to pay you for this watch. So they're going to say, okay, you got this watch that costs $85,000 and you live in the projects. with your mother, you don't pay rent, you don't pay taxes for anything, but you got an $80,000 watch that was stolen from you. Yes, you've been paying the taxes, but now you coming to us telling us you want to give you back the money for this $80,000 watch when you've been, doing something illegal to get this money. So either I tell this is what the agency gonna tell you, not the insurance agency. Either I'm gonna report it to the administration that for my research we realized that you had an $80,000 watch and you don't even have an income. You know what I mean? Now you don't put the watch in your auntie name and your auntie got an $80,000 watch and she only getting $30,000 a year. You know what I mean? $20,000 a year. But she got an $80,000 watch. So they say, well, I'm going to report your auntie that she's getting, she's getting $30,000 a year and she got this $80,000 watch. So now you don't want your auntie in trouble so you don't say nothing. So just to prevent all that, we didn't get none of that insurance. We didn't do none of that. When I got a car stolen, either I got the car back or I just left it alone because I had no insurance. I wanted no insurance because I didn't want them to have to ask whoever name I got the car in, because you got to put in somebody's name. So you try and do it under the radar. You put in somebody's name because they got a job. So if anything happened, it could kind of look like they brought it. But how does somebody that have a job making $30,000 a year got a $200,000 Mercedes-Benz? And then now you're reporting that Mercedes-Benz stolen from the car dealer. So the car dealer is going to say, when they run a check, they're going to say, dude, you got a $30,000 job, a $200,000 car, and yes, you've been paying attention, but we're not going to give you nothing for that. Y'all catching these jewels? Hit that Cash App, man. Show some love. Hit the like button at least. The like button just as good. I'm just telling y'all YouTube etiquette. You know what I mean? So, that's where that went. So now everything just play out so crazy that nobody understand that you got to play by the rules. You know what I mean? You have to play by the rules. So that's why I'm telling you, don't get involved in nothing so you don't have to worry about dealing with none of that, because this thing is real serious out here, And I'm just saddened that our people, didn't have us out here to give them these rules. That's why I'm taking my time to give it to you. But bottom line, Rayful Edmonds told, got the phone minutes knocked down to 300 minutes a month. So now you can only call for 15 minutes at a time. So that's 20 phone calls for the month. So if you talk for 15 minutes a day, there's 30 days in a month. You're going to have 10 days where you ain't got no phone. Then we go buy a pack number from somebody, meaning somebody that that don't use their phone. You pay them, and we normally pay them in currency. I'll tell you all about that too if you want to. Put in the Cash App when you hear these things I'm talking about, if they kind of intrigue you, and put it in the comments for me to speak on it. But that's what happened with that, man. I've been on here 47 minutes already. I don't want to stay up here too much longer. I just want to tap in and tell y'all Happy New Year, man. Let y'all know you highly respected. And, it is what it is, man. All right.